Once again, we are about to witness history involving the Mikenas defense, beginning with d4 knight c6. My God, I just feel like this amazing defense is so underrated. In fact, many people don't just know the beauty of this. Do you know that you can also transpose the game back to the Nimzowitsch after c4 and pawn to e5? Yes, the top played move, as you can see in this position, is pawn to d5, after which you can go bishop b4 check, and after knight c3 you take, forcing white to remain with this bad structure on the queen side, and then you go knight c e7. From here, the top played move is e4, and this is when you can just close the line, play d6. If bishop d3, you simply go knight f6. Say knight f3, because what else can they do? Now you go knight g6, castle shot, bishop g5, h6, bishop e3. Oops, be careful, they want to play c5, so you go b6. f4 always go together with a5. You close the position on the queen side so that you start concentrating on the king side from this time onwards. Question, is this not the king's pawn opening Nimzowitsch variation, you guys? As if we started with e4, e5. Look what I'm telling you. So this is another reason of starting with the Mikenas defense, in case you didn't know. It's not just about sacrificing your knight on move number 3 like this, pap. Even this is playable, yes, in case you didn't know, because from here, we're going to force a quick draw by just giving perpetual checks with our queen on these highlighted squares. What you're about to watch is evil. And don't try this at home. Try it in tournaments. That's fine. Anyway, before I continue, this will probably be your last time to hear from me ever again if you don't subscribe, or if you don't hit the like button and leaving a comment down below, because the YouTube algorithm won't be recommending my videos to you and to others. Also, if you don't share this video, YouTube won't like me. So do the needful to keep this channel alive, because you are the hero. Thank you. Here we go. d4. Let me start with knight c6. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. There we see pawn to d5 as always. So knight e5, I expect to see e4, after which I'm going to play e6. And after pawn to f4, I'll just take on d5, sacrificing my knight. So these are my plans, and I hope things will go as expected. e6, now expecting to see f4. My opponent is taking a bit of time to make their moves. Let's hope they are not doing what I'm thinking, because in this position it is obvious for anybody to play f4. Yup. So now I can do this. If pawn takes, I start giving perpetual checks on these sacred squares with my queen. So this is the intention. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. So far, I haven't faced anybody or anyone who has, declined this so-called Mikenas defense. I haven't faced anyone who has refused to take the knight. Hope my opponent won't do that. Wow. So this is the first time I'm seeing this move. My opponent chose to take on d5 instead of taking the knight. Anyways, we just retreat my knight. Now there was no need for me to sacrifice that knight, because think about it, I wasn't going to have queen c6 check due to white's pawn on d5. That's why I just retreated my knight back. This is kind of the alliance if you think about it. If pawn to f5 was played, I was just going to play knight back to e5 and d6 and some lines. So now with this move, I can safely develop my dark squared bishop out of the pawn chain. This is check. I intend to put my bishop either on b6 or on c5 immediately. I like the fact that my opponent is taking their time to make moves, which is a clear indication that maybe they are thinking. I was looking at the move pawn to f5, so my idea was just to retreat my knight back to e7, but anyways, there we see queen e2 check. Once again, I can just play knight back to e7 if I want. Knight 8 e7 will be a blunder due to f5 now. My knight on g6 won't have any safe square to go to. So the move that makes sense to my eyeballs in this position is knight 6 e7, or just putting my king on f8. That's also a move, right? Yeah, let me just undevelop my knight anyways. So it looks like I'm doing nothing and I'm just moving the same piece, multiple times in the opening stage. But if you think about it, white isn't making any, progressive moves either. So I'm safe. b5. Okay, the idea is if I play bishop b6 now, they can damage my pawns. But I'll just be an extra pawn up if this happens. That will just be a free pawn, right? So I'll just take. But let me even remove this. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. Yep, just like I predicted. So you see, that's just a free pawn. And yeah, white's argument is I have a weird pawn structure on the center, but I mean, what are they doing? I'm just up a pawn. Or what did they do? In fact, I can even do this. d5, just freeing up my d7 pawn. I'll play d6 next. Besides, d5 stops white from playing knight c4. So I'm comfortable in this position. Life is good with me. LG. Now pawn to d6. This also stops knight e5 if you think about it. So even though these pawns look like my major weaknesses, they can also be thought of as my main strengths if you think about it. What am I even talking about? Normal development, knight f6. Next, I might even castle shot, if not putting my king's knight on e4. So let's see what my opponent is going to do. So once again, you can see that there is no problem at all with this so-called Mikenas defense. Well, with this move, pawn to c4, I guess white intends to take on f6, damage my pawn structure. But I guess I can just give them, because at the end of the day, I'm going to remain with a bishop pair, right? With a solid defense. So let me just do this. So if bishop takes, I'll just take back. Let me just remove this. Positionally speaking, this will be good for me, for black. So you see what I'm talking about? One thing that you should learn from me, especially if you are an average player, an intermediate level player, is how I'm able to predict my opponent's moves by just using my own intuition. So you better develop a good sense of intuition as well. I don't know what I should do here. I'm looking at the move a5, also rook e8. I have knight f5. Let me start attacking right away. On the queen side, I guess the most attacking move here is a5. In chess, we are told to play or to consider attacking moves first before doing whatever. Okay, now I can centralize my rook, I guess. Or just play knight f5 first. This is coming. As you can see, there is no way white can reach my king. They can't give any checks. With knight f5, I intend to put my knight here, or just giving a check if you think about it. Okay, knight c4 now attacking my dark squared bishop. Let me attack the queen. With this move, now I'll be able to play knight e6. I mean, knight e3 if I want to. Well, I should mention to say I'm playing against a 2244 rated opponent. And they are doing well so far. Or are they? Maybe I just ran out of things to say, but honestly speaking, they aren't doing well. not doing well at all. And there we see queen d3. Just like I promised, knight e3 becomes a possibility. I might win a rook. If knight takes, I'll just take back with my queen. In fact, let me just remove queen takes b6. Because I guess that's what my opponent is going to do next. Besides, I have bishop f5 in the near future, and I might pin my opponent's queen to the king. Because say, oh, okay. Whatever I was planning to do has now become void and unreal. Rook takes, attacking the queen. Always consider playing attacking moves first before doing whatever you want to do. That's the word of the day. My opponent's time is ticking. They are running low on time. If I want to lose the game immediately in this position, I can just give up my light squad bishop. I'm just joking. Why can't I just play bishop g4 as if I'm pinning the knight to the rook? But in reality, I just want to play rook c8. Kind of a pin, right? Although white will have bishop c4 next. Let's just see what my opponent is going to do. If I was white in this position, I would have just resigned. There we see king b2. But anyways, rook c8, what else do I know? And I might even create a strong battery along this file, the c file. You see, I've been attacking from the word go, which is a clear indication that the Mikenas defense maybe or might be a good opening, especially against unprepared opponents. This is a very good indication. Okay, now that white's queen is not, eyeing the f5 square, I can do this. Because next I might give a check or get rid of white's queen. I foresee something like rook c1. What else? Let me just take. Okay, I have a tactic here. Bishop c5, check, win the queen. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. Yep, easy peasy. Oh god, who am I? So my opponent just resigned. They're asking for a rematch. Let's see what they are going to do next. Again, d4, knight c6. d5, knight e5. They play that. So my opponent decided to play the same line. Are we going to see pawn takes this time? After e6, f4, pawn takes, pop? Are we going to see anything like that? I'll be happy to see that variation on the board. So I'm playing against the same person. And now my opponent is taking a bit of time here, trying to figure out what they should do next. f4, till pawn to, e takes d5. What else do I know? Please take my knight. I'm sure my opponent... Okay, I wanted to say, I'm sure this time they're going to take, and that's what, happened. Now I can continue giving endless checks. By the way, this is proven to be a draw, theoretically speaking. You just continue giving perpetual checks on these highlighted squares on the board. For example, king e2, king d2, you go queen h6 check. There's also a winning sequence that you guys should know by now. If king d3, I'll just go queen a6 check. If king c3, I'll go queen check. King e2, queen check. So that's queen h4 check. Queen h5. If king e3 or king d3 is played, I'll just win a free queen. Even king f2 is a blunder due to queen takes. My opponent offered a take back. Okay, so they made a mistake. Now they want to learn from their mistake. Okay, so king e1, queen h4 check. Wanted to make things interesting. If king g3, I have queen takes e4 check and win the rook. There's nothing, absolutely nothing white can do in this position apart from going home. Again, king d2, queen h6 check. So I just want to demonstrate how to make a quick draw. If king c3, yep, now I go queen c6 check. They shouldn't play king b3 because this allows me to win on the spot due to bishop b4 check after queen b6 and king c3. Now we are seeing something. King d3, queen a6 check. There's a line where, you know, white can play king e3. Right after this, they go king f2. In my first tutorial video on the Mikenas defense this year, I said, if white plays king e3 in this particular position, thou shalt not play queen h6 check. Although that's fine, but it's going to be complicated. So you just need to develop your bishop with tempo, bishop c5 check. In this case, I can go queen h6 check. This is a threefold repetition. If I want, I can claim a draw, but I want to see what my opponent can do. What else my opponent can do. There we go back to the drawing boards. King e1, queen h4, check. Anyway, sorry for wasting your time, you guys, but I just wanted you to learn something. By the way, there's a winning sequence. I'm just avoiding to, do some things. If I want, I can even take with my queen on e4. That's winning in some lines also. Let me just take with my pawn. Let me try something else. Since I have bishop c5 coming in the near future, let's demonstrate class. High class chess. 2244 rated player asked for a take back. See what I was talking about? In this position, your key move is pawn to d5, as I said in my tutorial video, because this paves the way for your line squared bishop. It won't even make sense for white to take with ampersand. And if they make a wrong move again, I'm not going to accept a take back request. So now white is asking for a queen trade. No. Since I'm down a piece, I don't have to trade queens, or else I'm going to lose. In this case, I can give a check if I want to. Even giving a check on h4 so that I win this pawn. So my argument is I'm going to be up by 3 pawns for a knight, which is justifiable in the world of chess. Yes, 3 pawns equal 1 minor piece, technically speaking. Even Stockfish approves. So I have 3 passed pawns, if I can put it right, for a knight that I sacrificed. In fact, I think this is a blunder. It allows me to take on b2, and I'm threatening to win a free rook or just getting back my piece. I don't care even if white takes on c7, because I have queen takes and threaten to take the knight. Just how amazing this defense is, you guys. I know a lot of people feel uncomfortable playing like this because they don't know what the future holds. That's quite obvious. I can take the rook if I want, but why can't I develop a minor piece with tempo? Is white going to play this move? But anyways, this will come as a pin. So check. I see something like knight c3, yep. And then I can even take the rook if I want to. Oh, wait a second, I can't take the rook. Why? Because white has bishop b5 check. See, if I take, white is going to play bishop b5 check. So I was going to lose this game. Why is this very bad? Because after this, it was going to be checkmate. So I was going to be mated in two due to the fact that I don't listen. Queen takes, bishop b5 check, king f8, queen d8 check, mate. So after bishop b5, for example, bishop b5 check, the only sensible move I can make here is bishop d7, sacrifice. No, I'm not going to take the rook. This is very bad. So in this case, let me just avoid this move. I can play a6 if I want. Although the problem with a6 is I'm going to weaken my b6 square. Maybe I should just play bishop d7 right away, challenging the upcoming bishop b5. So this is why it is important to be patient in chess. I was about to lose the game in two moves. If rook b1 this time, I'll just take with check and take that rook. So once again, when you're playing aggressive chess, or when you're playing aggressively, always be on the lookout for similar tactics. You still have to work for your meal. My former coach told me that when you think you are winning, or when you think you have a winning position, that's the right time to start playing slow chess, ensuring that you are doing everything right. So if there's somebody in this position, if there's someone who needs to be extra careful, it is me, not my opponent. My opponent has nothing to lose. They have already lost, positionally speaking. So they have nothing to lose. They are doing everything possible to save the game. So you should just relax. Even a bit, you're going to lose terribly. And, start blaming me for teaching you these things. Queen e4 check. I have knight e7. Queen e5 check. Knight e7, blocking the check. And next I might even take. Now it even makes sense to take the rook, by the way. If queen takes, I'll just attack that queen. There we see knight e2. Once again, here is another reason why you should be very patient in chess. If you just go ahead and castle short, thinking you are unpinning your knight, you will run into mate in one. So in this position, I can just take. Let me not complicate things. I just took back my piece, the rook. And now let's chase our opponent's queen away from our territory. Next I might, need to castle short, putting my king to safety. Oh, my opponent just ran out of time. Nope, this time I won't do a rematch. I hope you guys learned one or two things.